sneaky. Actually, let me see if I can pull up a picture of a crombec very quickly for you. I've got my bird app open. I was actually looking at pipits. Let's go see crombec. We've got to go a little bit further down there. There we go. Where is the long-billed crombec? So I think this is the one. I think I can hear them chirping now. So I'm just going to find an actual picture of one. Craig, I'm going to turn my phone sideways if that's okay. Like that. And then it should open up the image. And now we just need to angle it so you can't see the glare. That's about good. I'll keep touching it so it doesn't go dark. So that's a little long-billed crombec. You can see a very short tail. And we do see them here. Very sort of pale supercilium, that sort of eyebrow stripe over the top of its eye. And then a very pale sort of rufous breast too. Let's see, I think that's them. We go, no, where are you going to land? Craig, I don't know if you can see them. They're bouncing from tree to tree. And that's very typical behavior of the crombec. They don't sit still for very long. I think they may have gone a bit too far out of reach now. Okay, well, we'll keep trying. They're just bouncing about. They were in this peltiforum, and then they went back towards the silver cluster leaf thicket that was just behind that African wattle. And let's see if we can get some more. Be nice to put a few of the smaller little birds, maybe some of the tawny flanked prineers, some of the cisticulars. Ah, spider. Let's look at the spider. I don't know if we're going to see it. Craig, how's that? Is that good light? I'm going to duck right down so Craig can get in there nicely. It looks like a tropical tent web spider web. But I can't see if anybody's home just yet. But look at those beautiful colors that are reflecting off of the web. Getting some reds, some greens, golds and silver. It's quite pretty, this little web. And there's a slight breeze, as you can tell. So who needs a windsock out here when you've got spider webs that you can use to try and tell which way the wind is blowing? But it doesn't look like anybody is home, or the tropical tent web spider is doing a very good job and just hiding away at the moment. Now, I don't know if I'd be able to cope as a spider, because every time my web moved like that, I'd be running around looking for the insect that had perhaps been caught. I don't know if I'd make a very good spider, but you can see it's moving quite vigorously now. It might also be abandoned. Maybe it's an old one, because I can't see anything in there. Though it was also a chilly morning, I suppose we've got to bring that into play as well. Maybe it is just sitting up and quite close to the bark of the tree trying to shelter itself. Because with this bit of wind that's picking up now, the chill factor is going to definitely increase. I'm still cold. Right, let's go. Spider, I'm very sad that you weren't home. Let me just check the other side though. Maybe we can see it this side. No. Nobody's home in that little web. Right. We're going to keep searching. Can still hear those elephants moving they're moving in a block at the moment. So hopefully they're going to edge closer and closer to a road. I'm going to send you back across to Ellie now and wonder if she's up for a bird challenge.
I was looking for it, but it seems like it crosses back onto Torchwood. Sorry, Little Gowrie. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Alright. Sorry guys, just busy updating everyone on that we bump into the roads, because somebody wanted to know if Taylor had any luck with the tracks, and I felt rude not talking to them when they were staring directly into our eyes. So now that we know that Taylor has given up on cats and is going to do some birding, we would like to officially welcome her onto the team. No, I'm joking. It seems like there hasn't been too much cat movement. I think the Nkuhumas are pretty settled in the spot all the way up there. Squirrel. Hello. And I think maybe today is a great day to look at the smaller things that graces with their presence. And we've got a tiny little squirrel up there, also warming up in the sun. Well done. And I think there was another one further down, but they keep moving up and down, and it's no coincidence, I'm sure, that they've chosen this beautiful marula tree to be up and establish themselves there, because as we all know, marulas produce a very wonderful fruit that a lot of them like. And I think maybe 2 days ago we did see one of those little ones with the nut, or the inside of a marula, just trying to eat the little seeds inside. I was very happy to see it, and look at that fluffy tail all the way there. So this particular species of squirrel, and we have two in southern Africa. We've got the tree squirrel, which is this one that we're looking up at the tree. And we've got another one that is a lot bigger than this one, that it's called the ground squirrel. And very creative name. It's called the ground squirrel because it lives on the ground. And it burrows and it goes underneath the ground for protection. Whereas these little ones, they go up on the trees, and that's where they feel safe. Also very, very territorial little creatures. Squirrels are very feisty when it comes to protecting their holes or their nest in the trees and the particular areas where they may have buried some of their food, and they don't really take it well with other intruding squirrels to come into an area where they are. You're looking very quiet. Don't you want to spot a leopard for us from all the way up there? No. Somebody's quite happy in the sun. We were also enjoying the road we were on earlier on because it was so nice and warm. I think so are you. Is that a broken ear that I'm seeing? Maybe you are an older squirrel. Beautiful. Look at those long, long fingers and the claws. Very vital for them to be able to climb up quickly in the trees and then hold the nuts and the fruits of everything that they're eating, and very long teeth to be able to bite through pretty much anything. Oh, you're so pretty. Hello. Also, skin fluffed up. Somebody's hungry. It's trying to move the mouth. Maybe it had something in there before. You normally when you put it in and you chew, then you need to finish it. You can't save it for later. Alright, well, thank you, Mr. Squirrel. We appreciate your company. We're going to leave you to your tanning session. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the sun as much as we are. Taylor, you want to know if I'm up for a birding contest? Yes, let's bring it on. Let's see. But I think I need to find a better spot than this one before we start the birding contest. There was one spot. We should have done this earlier. I would have won already. There were so many birds there. Alright, sure, let's bring it on and let's have a birding contest. Let's see how we do. Hopefully we'll be able to find a few of them around. But that sounds like something fun to do on this Sunday morning, isn't it? Oh, an elephant down there on the road? I don't know. Let's have a look. If it's an elephant bird, then we've won. No doubt. Hands down. It is an elephant! Okay, let's go closer. Maybe two elephants, actually. Two elephants fighting. Two elephants pushing each other. In the middle of the road. Huh. Well spotted, Fern. The big mass is all the way in the distance. Okay, let's go exploring. Let's see if we can get a bit closer to them, because I think for now they're a bit far away. But we shall carry on keeping an eye out for birds, because obviously, the chameleon contest, I think Taylor lost a few points yesterday by spotting that wonderful eaten leaf in the trees. But because we love Taylor, we'll give her that point. Right, while we try to get a bit closer to these Ellies and see what they're up to, let's go to Taylor and see if she can start racking up some of the birds for this morning.
Ellie, I've already got very upset with the birds this morning. I just shouted at a whole lot of them. There was a beautiful food party. But do you think that they would sit still? No. There was woodpeckers and cinnamon-breasted bunting and cisticulars. And there's some bird, it looks like a fork-tailed drongo from here, just on the top of that dead tree. Quite far away, but let's see who we can have a look at. Yes, it is a little fork-tailed drongo. Hello. Now, it's obviously quite difficult to tell from here, but just from size and, of course, experience and looking at that very forked tail, you can tell. But they can get easily confused with the southern black flycatcher. but they don't have as deep of a fork in their tail. It's actually almost square. And also, if you're close enough, you can see that a fork-tailed drongo has got a red eye, whereas the southern black flycatcher doesn't have that. But we're a little bit too far away, so there we go. There's bird number 1. Now, how much time do we have to do this challenge? 1 hour and 22 minutes. Right. Okay, let's see who else. There's someone else calling. It sounds like maybe a white-browed scrub robin singing. So now we need to just start checking the tops of the trees, looking for little branches. That's where they like to sort of perch themselves when they do start singing that beautiful song. Let's see if... Now it's just stopped singing, which will make it even more difficult for us to see. Where are you, birdie? This is the hardest thing, is trying to put the birds on camera, because they see you and they just fly away all the time. Actually, that's, you know what, I really miss Brainton days like today. He was always keen for a bird challenge. It was so much fun having those little competitions, mammal challenges. We need to start doing them again. I'm concentrating because I'm trying to figure out where this little robin is sitting. Can hear it. I think it's somewhere in this vicinity. Now I'm going to turn and face. You can hear its call. I just needed to jump. I'm staring deep into the bushes, and hopefully if it does move, we'll be able to see it. No, I can't see it. I think it's moved further and further away from us. Well, Ellie has arrived at her elephant. I suppose we should go and have a look at that grey giant.
We have arrived to an elephant party, it seems. All of them gathering together in the middle of the road. And I think maybe they might even start making their way down towards the Molowati. Maybe they're going to go dig up some water. Because, look at that line. Yeah, little one, you better get in line. They're going to leave you. No, they will not. I'm so big and fierce. Ah! Oh, this is funny. He's gone onto the side of the road to pretend it's bigger. You are still small. Yeah. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4 females and a youngster. That's what I can count here. Maybe the one in the front is actually may not be a female, but just another young one. Ah, and we see more in the distance. Dust bath. Judy, you're wondering if elephants ever stampede. Well, maybe not in the form that buffalo and wildebeest do, where they will all run together for a period of time. Elephants cannot run, so essentially they'll just almost like mock charge stampede type of thing. Just to give you a bit of an idea, if they find a potential predator or something they don't like, and especially if there are any youngsters around, then you'll see a few of the females will come onto what they're not comfortable with, onto the potential predator, and then, you know, if it's a bit too close, start trumpeting and give them a bit of a mock charge and chasing them a bit around, and then come back and then do it again. But they will, unless something absolutely spooks them, and I haven't seen them all run together in a particular area. I think maybe that's more for some of the antelope species, because that is one of their defense mechanisms. They just flee and they start running away. Ah, is that the big tusker in front? I see very beautiful white ahead of us. Oh, is that why all the girls are so excited up there? Sorry, we didn't mean it in a bad way. Honestly, we are so far away from you. Be friendly. I think somebody's taking it upon themselves to defend mothers and everybody else, and I think that beautiful big bull that we're looking at, oh my goodness, this youngster's fighting. I think the big bull that we're looking at, he's actually in must. So I could see a lot of secretion from the temporal glands, from the side glands on the side of his face, and it could be why there's a bit of a commotion in between all these Ellies. Maybe there's a lot of information that's just moving around everywhere. I'm sure this boy, he's busy looking for a potential mate. A lot of the times when they're in must, well, or a lot of the times no, when they're in must, they almost go into the sexual frenzy. They just want to find females all throughout. And I think this is what he's looking for. I'm sure we found him the other day and we managed to have a bit of a glimpse at him, and beautiful big tusks, and I'm sure he's busy smelling some of the females around, because this is a herd and he's just been trailing different herds all throughout. So I'm pretty sure that he's trying to find someone that might just be receptive, and I think maybe he might have found someone. You see, they'll use their trunk to start smelling the females and try to decipher all of the information. Look at him. What a stunning creature. Lots of rumbling around. Alright. While we see what happens around here, and if these guys relax a little bit more, let's go over to Taylor, who's also found an elephant.
Unfortunately, our elephants are hiding in a very thick bush at the moment, but there seems to be quite a large number of them just feeding quite close to Triple M. At the moment, we're just looking at one of the younger ones who's using the luxury facilities at the moment, in the one end and out the other. That's literally what happens with an elephant due to their very, very poor digestive system. I mean, a fully grown elephant, a cow and a bull, can produce about 100 kilograms of dung in one day. Isn't that amazing? I think it's quite special. What is that? Sorry, Craig, while you watch it, I'm just seeing something is walking on the road. Oh, it's just an impala. Okay. False alarm, everybody. False alarm. I was staring down Triple M towards the gate, and I could just see something moving on the horizon, so I panicked and I thought, a leopard, maybe it's a leopard, but it wasn't. I checked with my camera very quickly, down the barrel, and I just saw the horns of an impala. So we'll stick with our friends, the elephants, then. But they're not doing too much just yet. I think they're just taking it easy. It's quite cold. Right, let's go back across to Ellie with that giant tusker.
See on your screen that he's coming a bit more. If I turn my vehicle on, then just please go to Taylor. No, you can come to us.
Right, sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sure what just happened over there, but you're back with me now, still watching our elephants as they disappear into the bushes. I don't know if they're going to eventually pop out on the road. They seem quite content just feeding alongside. Right, sorry, let me just turn this radio down. So we're just waiting and watching these elephants as they move through in the thicket now. But they're going very slowly, like I said. There's this young boy. He looked like a young bull, the one that we were watching. But I can't see. Hopefully we'll be able to tell you in a moment when it comes out of the bushes. Now it's just feeding on, looks like a little knobthorn, a dwarfed one. Eating all the tender leaves. But of course it is very difficult to see. But it's just obviously going to be quite exciting once winter comes about. I'm really excited for winter, and I know I've told you this 1,000 times, because I enjoy watching the elephants push over the trees just to really see their strength. I don't think they demonstrate their strength as much during the summer months. There's absolutely no need. They just pull the grass right out the ground and feed on the newly developed leaves, all those sweet, delicious things. Whereas in the winter months, when they start feeding on bark and roots, to watch them completely push over a massive marula, or any tree in particular, and then to dig down and get the roots is really quite special. It's quite amazing, and you hear a lot of those sounds in the bush. It becomes a very common sound to hear the cracking of trees, and that's great. Then that's an easy way for us to find elephants. And it seems as though elephants are the theme of the morning, because Jamie's in Kenya and she's also found another herd.
Yes, I copy. Thinking. And here we go once again with the incredible herds of elephants that we get to see out here. Yes, little one. It's okay. It's okay, cheeky boy. And there must be, sure, about about, I would say, at least 50 elephants around us, all spread out in the open area, from right across to the northeast of me. Oh, it's so magical. These vast open spaces. Give me 1 sec, I'm just going to say morning. Morning, everyone. Still looking for my elephant herd. I say my elephant herd, it's definitely not my elephant herd, but the elephant herd with the little one that was just born. I'm so excited to see it again. I'm sure we will. I'm sure they spend quite a lot of time in this sort of around the same area. And that would be something quite special to encounter. And I've memorized all the notches on Mum, on her ears, so I know I'd recognize her if I saw her. It's very windy this morning. How's this for scenery? It is utterly extraordinary. There's such a sense of vast open space that even the elephants look a little tiny. Not quite, but it feels like they seem smaller in this open area. I'm actually going to move forward a little bit, Dave. That little one's being quite cute. Next to the one with the floppy ear. Let's see if we can get a little closer, so you'll all have to watch as we bump along. Things will be much easier once Paka is up and running, because then we can drive and talk to you at the same time. I mean, I can still talk to you. I can wave at you from down below. Yes, little one. It's okay, boys. What's the matter? Don't be silly now. See, everyone else is relaxed around you. You're just being silly. There's the tiny little one. Oh, goodness. So there's the floppy-eared one, and then if you look a little bit to the left there, Dave, you'll see baby suckling. John, you want to know what the biggest herd is that I've seen? Well, since I've arrived here, I would say, oh, little one, probably about 200 or so would be the biggest herd that I've seen. I can't wait to show you something like that. And apparently, we've spoken about this before, but apparently I'm told that once the wildebeest and the zebra get here, the elephants all disappear. They all go running up into the mountains and the high areas where the wildebeest don't go. And I think just because they don't really feel like listening to the noise and the chaos and dealing with the flies that accompany the herds. I have no idea what she's eating. It's not grass, it's some kind of plant. I have to get to... It's exciting when you get to an area where you don't recognize every single thing immediately. There's a massive purple flower that I've noticed as we've been driving along. If I see it, I'll stop and show you. But there's a massive purple flower that I have no idea, none of us know what it is. Brent has no idea. We're going to have to get hold of our friends, the guides at Ngama, and get them to tell us what it is, teach us a little bit about it. Onwards on our journey. It sounds like Ellies had some wonderful luck this morning with a massive elephant. Let's see what else she has in store for you.
Well, we're gonna try going around, see if perhaps we can have a look at the rest of the herd. I think unfortunately that big tusker is in full must and he's feeling quite protective of all the females that are around his area. So he was not too happy with her presence there, and we've decided then to just pretty much leave him, and we'll go around, see if perhaps we can see the girls from the other side. I think maybe his frustration was added because he couldn't find any females receptive or ready to mate. So he just found that little group, sniffed them all around, couldn't find anything, and then carried on walking down the road. So I think maybe he's had a tough morning. Maybe he hasn't had his coffee and eggs and bacon for breakfast yet. Not that elephants would eat that, but you get the idea. So we are going to try and going around, see if perhaps we can find the rest of them, because I'm sure they're heading once more into the drainage line. But I have not forgotten about Taylor's bird challenge, so I'm also looking for any bird that I can see around here, or as Taylor would like to say, a fiesta of birds instead of a party. And let's go down here. Let's see. I am hoping we'll see some birds here. I can hear a few calling in the distance, but I can't even begin to imagine where they are. Come on, feathered friends, don't let me down. Any one of you? No? Okay. Oh, unfriendly of them. Rishi, you're wondering if we've got any hummingbirds at Djuma. No, we do not. We've got similar birds in this area that are called sugar birds or sunbirds that look very similar to a hummingbird, but I would say the African version of it. And some of them have very beautiful striking colors, and they eat also the nectar of the flowers. In particularly, they seem to love the one of the aloes, or when you have big aloes and they have those beautiful flowers, then you'll get them there. But I haven't seen one in a while. I think the last one I saw, one of them, was maybe about a month ago. I also haven't been paying too much attention for them. Hear them every so often. Hopefully we'll see. Maybe that will be a good prize to get. Any sunbird, because they are striking little creatures. Yes, my first bird for the challenge, my favorite bird, sitting on top of that marula, making a racket as usual. I knew they wouldn't let me down. Oxpeckers. Thank you guys for having my back, all of them around there. The red-billed oxpecker, and you can hear them. Oh, such noisy creatures you are. Yeah. So they could have just come out of a hole in a tree where they nest, and these altogether, more likely than not, they're all a family because they live in groups. And maybe they've also just finished warming up and looking for a creature to attach themselves onto so that they can start having breakfast. It could be that they were already on someone, and because it moved into thicker bush, that's why they were so upset and they moved up and waiting for somebody to move. So they will pretty much come down on anything. Impala, kudu, we see them on warthogs often. Buffalo, if there were any around here. But it seems like there's nothing, and maybe that's why they're complaining. Alright. First bird for the challenge ticked. Thank you guys for... Oh! Drongo! There was a drongo! Yes! Now we've got 2 birds for the challenge. A fork-tailed drongo at the back. Well, some of my favorite birds all together in a branch coming together. Thank you guys, we appreciate it. And let's go over to Taylor while we circle around trying to find a bit more elephants and see if she's got any other birds for us.
Not yet, we're still searching. I haven't heard any birds chirping around here just yet, but I'm looking for anything that flutters in the trees, or maybe sitting down on the ground. I think we're going to take Mvubu Road. That's just on the other side. I think we'll take that, and then hopefully we'll find some of the robins. I think that'll be a nice area. I would like to see a white-browed scrub robin. And this morning, maybe some buntings, cinnamon-breasted or golden-breasted buntings are always quite nice to see. Any birds from you, Craig, that you'd like to have a look at? Gymnogene, an African Harrier hawk for Craig, that's what he would like. I would also like to see secretary birds, but I don't think we're going to find any secretary birds down here. What's that? I have to check. Ha! Tree. Spotted a tree. Alice, I'm struggling to all of this. Can you repeat that question? There we go, now I got it. Mad Max, as we drive along searching for our feathery friends, you're wondering if all birds mate for life. No, not necessarily. Most of them are monogamous. Otherwise, you get others that are cooperative breeders, that you know, the breed, but they don't necessarily have to be monogamous. But let's see if we can find a bird, and then I'll tell you if they're monogamous or not. I promise you would think that it would be easy. There's a bird. Oh my goodness. It's a lilac-breasted roller. Just don't fly away. Please don't fly away. And there it goes. Off into the far distance. Oh my goodness, we're having loads and loads of fun. There's something else. There's the silhouette of a hornbill down over there in Biffle's Hook. We'll have to look at that, seeing as though the other birds don't want to be seen. Oh, there we go. So Mad Max, that hornbill, which looks like a yellow-billed hornbill just from the size of its beak, that is a monogamous bird, but they're not breeding at the moment. They've finished breeding. They'll breed. Most of the birds actually start mating and then laying their eggs, or first building their nests, then laying their eggs shortly after the rainy season, or sometimes towards the end of the rainy season, when once their chicks have hatched, there's going to be an abundance of food around. You wouldn't want to have chicks at this time of the year. It would be very, very stressful for the parents. Firstly, they wouldn't be able to eat enough for them to survive and keep a condition that they need. And then plus trying to feed some chicks as well will be exceptionally tough. It's best that you raise your offspring, whether you're a bird, whether you're a mammal, just after the rainy seasons when the conditions become favorable again. The wind has picked up. As you can see, that bird is moving quite a bit in the trees. The leaves are also rustling. I think we're going to have a very windy sunset safari this afternoon. The wind is quite predictable in this area. If you don't have anything during the day, you might be lucky and it'll be a beautiful still day, which normally is out here. But once the wind starts picking up in the early morning, it'll blow right through. And then at sunset, it should stop. It should go beautiful and calm again. But it's all right for now. It's just a breeze. But I think it's going to be gusting later, so that means we're going to have to be driving and checking the drainage lines. And hopefully we'll find the animals hanging around there. Well, Ellie and I are trying to do a birding challenge. We don't seem to be doing too well just yet. I'm going to head towards Vuyatela Dam. Let's go and see if Ellie has found any birds herself.
I think Taylor and I had both the same idea. We need to head to water to be able to find the birds. So I think these are the next ones on my list. I can't see all the way from here, so I just need to use the binoculars, but they seem to be, yes, starlings. And a roller in a nest. And I think it's even a purple roller. So we've got the Birchall starlings that we're looking at, and then if you go up in the tree there, I think into this corner over here, we'll see the roller fly out. I can just see its back feathers. So here. Zaina, you were wanting a roller. Well, that's wonderful. We're trying to get it there, but it just seems to be hiding. And I can just see the feathers there down at the bottom. So I think the light is not helping, but if you see at the top where that circle is, it's just hiding behind there. So I'm pretty sure it's gone in. Because let's just see. I'm gonna try heading closer because I think the sun is not helping. But that little gap, that darker gap on that thicker trunk of tree, that is what. That is a roller. I think it's a purple roller. I just saw the back feathers. But I'm pretty sure it is because it's looking too pretty. There we go! Hey, you're wondering about the fish eagle nest. It would be great if we managed to see it, but the ones that we saw yesterday are a bit far. But maybe that would be the epic bird challenge. We should just go to Chitwa Dam and sit there. Okay, I think on top of the the starlings on the top branch, the dead top branch to the right. To the right. There we go. There it is. There's a purple roller there. It is incredible camouflage, isn't it? Just showing us the darker part of its body, and then it's almost impossible to try and see it. But it's good to know that somebody's got a little nest up here. And it's common for them to use the nest in old dead leadwood trees. And I'm sure that's where it came from this morning. Hello. Well, thank you for moving in. Whoop. Off it goes. Let's go over to Taylor, who's apparently found more pretty birds. I think I'm going to need to find a lot more birds.
We've got brown-headed parrots, and I know that this is Jamie's favorite bird. I'm sure she's missing them quite a bit. And there's a pair of them, and they're just moving around this tree. They've just ducked on the other side, but hopefully they're going to pop up. They might even be well, not necessarily nesting now, but they normally nest in little tree cavities. So perhaps there's something just on the other side. Every now and then I can't see a little head popping up. But they were there, they were just grooming themselves, they were grooming each other. It was really quite sweet. Let's see if they're going to come back. Come back, little birds. Now, it's not often that we get to put brown-headed parrots. There they are, just to the right. Look at that beautiful bright green that they have covering their bodies. Come on, come out. Very, very easily able to move around on these branches, just as parrots do. Now, Susan, I believe that this is a new bird for you, so well done. Congratulations. That's good. I'm glad I could provide a new bird for you. Come on, parrots, come out. I really hope we can get another view of them. Let's be a little bit patient and wait for them to pop out. Like I said, we're very far away, so I don't think they're too bothered by our presence as well. Otherwise, they would have flown away. But they've got the most amazing call. Maybe while we sit and wait, shall play the call for you so you can just listen very carefully. I'm not going to find them. There you are, actually quite easy. So that's the parrots calling. It's a very, very easy call to identify in the bush. There's not many other creatures out here that sound like that. It's very, very high pitched, but they don't seem to be coming out anymore. That's a pity because that was so sweet. I think they're just looking for things to eat in that tree. And I know now they're going to start feeding on the... Oh, is that them again? No. I think they're going to start feeding quite nicely on all of the bush willow pods. Really cool, but I hope you got some screenshots. Woo! Starlight, you've said bird number 96. That's exciting. That's quite a good number. Let's see if we can get any more around here. But you know what I almost forgot to do? It's my dear friend, and I don't know if William is watching today, but little William from yesterday, who told me that it was his birthday tomorrow, which is today, and he was having an elephant cake. So I think we need to sing happy birthday. Craig, are you going to sing happy birthday with me? You're going to record it for me. No, you have to sing for William. I need the deep voice at the back there. Anyways, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear William. I hope you enjoy your cake. I'm so jealous, William. So please ask your parents to please send me a picture, or just to hashtag Safari Live with a picture of your beautiful elephant cake. We're so excited to see it. Although maybe it's not even tomorrow for you yet. Maybe it's still coming. Maybe you're sleeping soundly. But I just sang it early, and I'm going to sing it to you again this afternoon, just in case you weren't watching. But I'll practice. Maybe I'll come up with a better song. Ellie has also decided to go towards a dam. I'm sure that's to find some more birds. Let's go and see which watering hole she's at.
We are at Twin Dams, but the only thing here, and I was expecting there to be at least a blacksmith plover, is three ring-necked dove. And another... Cape Glossy starling that we hadn't seen. Yes, that's another one for our birding list. But the doves are just busy all moving around, so I think maybe it's a bit too windy around here, and that's why a lot of the birds have still not decided to come back and moving. There is the Cape Glossy that we were looking at, so different from the one that we were staring at earlier that didn't have that bright yellow eye. It seems to be quite quiet around here. I hear a grey hornbill in the distance, but I can't seem to be able to find it, and I was hoping it would come down for a drink. But no hippo, and pretty much not too much happening around the dam. I think everyone's still a bit cold. Even this guy keeps coming back and forth between the branches and the grass. What do you think? They always seem to be in a rush, the starlings, when they walk, don't they? Because they'll go very quickly and then they'll stop and then they'll carry on very quickly and then they'll stop. It's almost like they forget something and then they have to run in a certain direction and then they forget again and then carry on. I was being very brave earlier on and I took my gloves off, and probably not the best idea. So I think because Twin Dams hasn't been the greatest dam for us, let's go over to the biggest one of them all. And of course I'm talking about Chitwa Dam, and see how many bird species we can find around there. So I am hoping at least 2 or 3. Because everyone seems to have vanished from Twin Dams today. Come on, guys. Dear watcher, you're wondering what's the rarest bird that I have seen. I suppose there's a very tough one to see that's called an arena trogon. It lives in very thick vegetation and it's got striking, beautiful colorations, a red top and a very emerald looking sort of like lower section of the body. Oh, hello impala. And they are stunning, but very hard to see. You don't see them all that often, and they don't call, or I haven't heard them call all that often. So I saw 2 of them about 5 years ago, and that was the last time I ever saw one of those ones. And for a while now, which is not that rare, but I just haven't been able to see it. Well, I've got 2 on the list, and both of them, hello girls, good morning. Seen any birds? No? Okay, watch out for the leopards. There are 2 that I really want to see that are quite rare to see. Well, one of them is the African skimmer. That looks somewhat like an American tern, I think. That's the most similar one. Very long beak, and then they glide, they skim the water, and that's where they get the name from. And I haven't been able to see one of those ones yet. They come into Chobe and other areas in northern Africa, and they seem to be easier to find, but... Hello. Hello. How are you? Good. Okay. Cool. Is there anything this side?
The young daughter in Hoffman.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Well, I'm gonna head on to Chitwa. I'll give you a shout if I see anything. Alright, so it seems like there have been reports of a young male leopard somewhere in Hoffman's little Gowrie, and I wonder if it's not, you know who, the little prince Hosanna. But let's see, let's keep an eye out. Maybe there's something around here while we make our way to Chitwa Dam and see if there's anything there. And then of course the other very rare bird that I want to see, just to finish my thought, is called a Pell's fishing owl. So it's an owl that fishes. And it's so rare to see, and I've been dying and I've been looking for it. I've gone in Mokoros to the middle of the Okavango Delta looking for this thing, and I just haven't been able to find it. One day. Taylor has arrived at some water. I wonder if it's going to be the birding battle of the day. So let's go over to Taylor and see what she's able to spot from where she is.
Egyptian geese. Now, you know you're probably laughing at me, Ellie, but they are still birds and they still count. We've got them. Oh, Craig, look, there's some of my favorite doves. Can you see them just landing down there? Look at them. Look how cool they are. Land, land, land. What are you doing hovering over the water like that? They're African, not doves. I meant to say pigeons, sorry, but there are doves on the left. What is that one doing? Why? Do you think it's afraid of water? It doesn't want to get its feet wet? It looks very confused. That's for your telelodge that you're seeing in the background. Where are you going? No. You are the most indecisive African green pigeon I've ever seen in my life. Your partner's still down having a drink. Actually, you know, it's going to join it now. Oh, here it comes. Fly to us. So there's another bird. Bye, pretty bird. Oh my goodness, we don't really know where to look. If we go down to that corner though, there were some more doves. So we've got Egyptian geese, we have got African green pigeons, and then just to the top right there's some doves moving around just in the corner there. Who is that? Those look like laughing doves by the looks of it, a pair of them, just looking for something to eat, and I'm sure going to come down for a drink. And then if we go further to the left as well, just there we go, just in the left hand corner of the screen there's some starlings. Which starlings are you? Burchell starling? Yes, with that long tail. And it just missed a butterfly. Oh no, it got it. Did you catch that little insect? That was quite nice. I thought it flew away, but it did look like it swallowed something. I can hear crowned lapwings, which we'll go and find in just a moment. I'm just making sure I've got every little bird that's walking around here. I'm looking for the little three-banded plover too. I'm looking for Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith lapwing. There's something far down where those Egyptian geese are. Just sort of to the left of that big log, there's something. Are those more doves? Have we got those ones? There we go, you're right in the center of it. Just want to check. Oh no, it's another pair of laughing doves, so we've got them already. We can't count them twice, unfortunately. So no Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith lapwing today. And no little three-banded plover for us to add to the list. That's okay. Oh, there's a warthog running down. Where are you running, pig? Stopped. No, carrying on again. Off he goes. That was nice. All these little random things coming racing out of the bushes. I love watching warthogs run. I wonder where it's off to. It's all on its own. I didn't even get to see if it was a male or female. I think it might be a girl. Where's your piglets? Did they not survive this year? What? And off it goes. It seems to be very skittish about something. I'm not sure what's got this warthog all stirred, but now it's stirring the crowned lapwings. You be careful, you could get bopped on the head, I'll tell you that. Those crowned lapwings don't care how big of an animal you are. And even just looking at her as she turns to face us, she's got those lovely white whiskers, if you will. Giving it away, not stopping to use the luxury facilities, on the go. I wonder what's given her such a fright like that. She came running out of the drainage line, and she still hasn't quite settled down just yet. Off she goes. But warthogs are quite skittish. They don't have the greatest senses, I'm afraid. Let's go a little bit closer. Let's see what else we can find down there. They always are quite like that. So I suppose it's not too surprising that she was darting across the open area, but let's go across to Ellie and her birds before they fly away.
Heidi, you're wondering if the beak of the red and the yellow-billed hornbill, if they're different. Yes, they are. The one of the red-billed is a bit thinner. It's not as big as the one of the yellow-billed. And then obviously the color is slightly different. And there are two different species. What is this impala going on about? I wonder, because we had, so right in front of us you'll see the herd, or the rest of the herd is crossing, and there was one male that was busy. It was almost like an alarm call, and then the one female ran all the way here. So I don't know if he's having a bit of a, just a boy moment where he hasn't decided why he's upset, or if he's actually looking at something that could be a potential danger to them. They all seem to be quite relaxed, so this is quite puzzling at the moment. Lots of impala, look at them. All of them have been hiding in the thickets because it's been too cold for them up to now. But you the noisemaker. Hide amongst the girls, we can see you. There we go. I'm gonna wait for this impala to finish crossing and see what they're up to, but let's go to Taylor, who seems to have found way more elephants. Oh, birds. Sorry, not elephants, birds.
We've got the go-away birds just sitting in a tree. some crowned lapwings. Oh, that counts. Hey Craig, that counts. That bird that flew right across your screen, that was a flash, that was a crowned lapwing. We're counting that one. You heard it call and you saw it briefly, but we're looking at the go-away birds, a pair of them just warming themselves up in the sun. You can see the one on the right looks like it's actually just having a little rest at the moment too. You almost can't even tell that it's a go-away bird because its little crest it was not standing up. It's just relaxing. That's really quite nice. And that's a good spot. I'd love to climb up that tree and join them. They'll definitely be warming up quite nicely now. The sun is getting quite hot. And then, once it gets too hot, too extreme, then they'll start flying down looking for things to eat. And I wonder when the jackalberries are going to start dropping their fruit. That's something we must maybe do this afternoon, is perhaps go and drive around in the drainage lines and go and check all the jackalberries to see which ones are starting to develop their fruits, because we need to try and beat them before the go-away birds and the African green pigeons that we saw eats them all. Can I have that again? Sorry, Alice, I didn't quite catch that at all. There's a lot of interference. Getting a question, but I couldn't understand. There we go. So it's a question from James, and you were wondering which of the birds' diets are most season dependent. I'm going to have to say the frugivores. I think anybody that eats fruit is very much sort of season dependent. Obviously, we're quite lucky out here, and nature is really nice. So there's a lot more fruit in the winter months than there are the summer months. If we think about it, I'm going to find some crowned lapwings quickly because they're normally around here. So I'm just going to check carefully, and then I'll elaborate on why I think the fruit eaters are the ones that have the most season dependent diet. There we go. There's one crowned lapwing just down over there. We'll get another one just in case you weren't sure and you thought that I was telling big stories again. So, like I said, in this particular area, I think that there are more trees that have fruit in the winter months, very camouflaged, as you can see. We've got all the guarri trees, we've got the jackalberries all starting to drop their fruits, and there'll be a couple of others too. And in the summer months, I feel like it's just really the marulas and the buffalo thorns. And then we don't see too many more fruits. Even the balanites trees drop their fruits in the winter months. And it's amazing how nature has sort of done that, because after the rainy season, there's a lot of vegetation around. There are a lot of new leaves developing on the trees. Obviously, all the fresh grass is just sprouting out through the ground. So there's so much for the various animals to feed on. And then, of course, something like a go-away bird doesn't just feed on fruit. They also feed on sort of new leaves and that type of thing too. But their diet in the winter months heavily depends on the fruit, for example. Whereas something like this crowned lapwing is looking for insects. And you can find insects all year round. So that's just my opinion. I mean, somebody else might have something different. Perhaps we can pose that question to Ali and see which birds she thinks, which diet of the birds is most season dependent. Insects, I suppose, in the summer months, again, very lush, lots of grass around, lots of food for insects to eat then, and then, of course, the birds will be quite happy too. But I think it's the fruit eaters that we'll have to see. Crowned lapwing, you're not shouting at me for once. That's unusual. Normally always having a go when we come and drive past here. Right, we're going to see which other birds we can find. Hopefully we'll get a couple more before the show ends. Jamie, of course, is still in the Mara, and she's found herself a hippopotamus.
We've arrived at the magnificent flowing Mara River. Many other M adjectives that are used. And we've got a combination of rocks and moving rocks, as they definitely do not look deep enough to hide a hippo. How crazy is that? In my imagination, that was a sort of a rocky point where it was shallow and the river was sort of streaming over it, but then that entire hippo just vanished in there. Shane, imagine being a poor wildebeest trying to cross there. Ah. Yeah? How's your audio your side? Can you hear me? Hold on. How's your audio? Maybe I've gone off on my side. I have gone off on my side. Alice! Alice, you'll have to link away. My batteries have died.
Oh, I've got more.
Okay. Alright, let's go from one river to another. We'll see you shortly.
Lots of water at Chitwa Dam. I think we have found all the water here, and we are gonna be looking at birds. I can hear a few of them around, but maybe here is a good spot. Let's just go all the way up onto the wall. I'm sure the wall will be better. Right, because I think Taylor's winning this bird challenge. It seems like she's got all the feathery luck today, and we haven't been doing all that well, so hopefully this dam will help us find a few more birds and get a few more spots. Now, binoculars, there we go, and let's start looking at different species. So here in front of us, going onto the shore, then we've got the Egyptian goose. So this one was an important one to tick off because they are pretty much everywhere and very noisy. So, happy to tick that one out. And all the way over there, we've got also another common species, the Hadida. Are you a Hadida or are you? Yes, a Hadida all the way up there. And of course, underneath and fluttering around, the red-billed buffalo weavers moving all throughout. So not too bad. We managed to take three more points onto our bird list, and we're gonna stick around here and carry on looking for a while longer, see if perhaps we get lucky with any other species of birds. But in the meantime, let's go over to Taylor, who has seemed to have found another one.
You've got to look very, very carefully for this one, but it is a Senegal lapwing, just hiding in the grass, and every now and then you can just see its beautiful yellow eye. There it is. How beautiful is that? Now, you can get quite confused if you've ever seen a black-winged lapwing before, because this species and the black-winged lapwing look quite similar. But, however, as we're looking at it now, the black-winged lapwing lacks that white crown that the Senegal lapwing has, and also they've got different coloured legs. Craig, there are some more here that we might be able to see a little bit better. There's a couple of them just in that vicinity over there. Now, there we go, there's one moving. So if we look at their legs, you can see their legs are quite dark in colour, almost black, whereas the black-winged lapwing has got pinkish sort of legs. So those are just some of the differences. We don't really see the black-winged lapwings out here. I don't think I've ever spotted one. I've seen them down on the Eastern Cape before, every now and then. But the Senegal lapwing is a funny little bird. Sometimes they fly away, sometimes they stay here as residents, because as the name suggests, they do sort of come from the area of Senegal, typically around Sierra Leone. That's one of their favourite spots. But what I was going to say is that they don't necessarily go home all the time, because we see Senegal lapwings in this area all year round. Hey? They're beautiful birds though. Not quite as robust as the crowned lapwings, but they sort of live in harmony amongst each other and feed on fairly similar things too. So they're both specialist termite eaters. They love to eat termites, but they'll eat any insect that they can really catch. At this time of the year, we might see them feeding a little bit more on the termites. Always hanging around those mounds as well. And on these warm winter days, we do see them come out and move around trying to look for leaves and things that they can take back to their mound, and these birds will happily snatch them up. They go. That's very nice. Very pretty with the odd little devil's thorn flower just peering through the grass. That's sort of all that's out at the moment. Now, there's something that I want to do with all of you. You may remember I asked yesterday morning, it was, I said that I wanted to come back to the fireside chat area where we normally do fireside chats and just quickly do another picture of how quarantine has changed, and I didn't get a chance to do that. Hang on, before I do, there's a southern white-crowned shrike down on the left amongst some starlings. There we go, that's another bird. It might be a new bird for some of you if you haven't seen them just yet. Southern white-crowned shrike having an argument with a Burchell starling. Look at it hopping about. Very cool. Well, they're all feeding on something there. Oh, there's some red-billed hornbills too. So a whole bird party and a crested barbet. Look at that. We're racking up the birds over here. They're having an argument. This is really cool. There's even a woodpecker that's joined in. Who's that? Maybe a bearded woodpecker? I can't see it now. It's hiding behind the grass. But there's so many things. There must be a whole abundance of insects that have just coming out. Maybe termites moving around at the base of this tree. But very cool nonetheless. Right. Jamie's still in Kenya. Let's go across to her and see what else she has found.
Okay, let's try that again, shall we? After our disastrous initial attempt at this Mara River crossing, what I was trying to say, apparently very softly, was just how surprised I was at how deep that rocky pool was. I really thought that was a shallow patch of water. It looks like a shallow patch of water. But there we go. A pile of living rocks and a pile of, well, non-living rocks. A hippopod all clustered together. And every now... Oh, there's a baby! There's a tiny, tiny baby at the back there. And this is a spot that we're going to be visiting very frequently over the coming weeks, especially when the migration actually gets here. Don't know where they are. We haven't been down that way in a while. No, baby, come back. So we'll be able to observe this pod of hippos as they experience the migration and probably basically just find it a little bit of an annoyance. What I have been looking for is a big territorial crocodile. There's, in theory, one pretty much at every crossing point. I haven't found it, though. I thought I saw it, but I can't be certain. It could just be lurking in the water somewhere. I mean, desperately trying to get pictures of the various crocodiles at the various crossings. So if it would pop out right now, that would be marvelous. It's a nice morning to be out. The sun is really beautifully warm, and then the wind is quite cooling. So it's a really nice, pleasant temperature to experience. And this peaceful scene in front of us, and it really is very peaceful at the moment, is going to be completely transformed shortly. Is that the little one? Struggling, a different one, struggling to get on top of one of the other hippos. Life's tough when you're that tiny and everyone around you is massive. Especially if you can't stand at the bottom, you've got to find yourself a good place so you can go to sleep. There we go. Is that more comfortable? No, not quite. Oh, so sleepy. Far too young to have any tusks just yet. Come on, you can do it. Go and lie on your mum's back. That's the way. Up you go. Up you go. Mom's the perfect resting place. Oh dear, this isn't working out as well as you'd planned, does it? Just to get that position so it doesn't slide off while it sleeps. Now, Smack, you want to know if these hippos are trying to stay warm. That could be. I don't think they're too bothered by the cold, but I think there's a possibility that they're in the shallows there and enjoying the warmth of the sunlight on their backs. Hippos do like to sunbathe. As sensitive as their skin is to the sun, especially on cooler days, they like to be out of the water. They like to go and lie up on the banks and spend a bit of time out of water. So it's entirely possible they're enjoying basking a little bit before moving further into the shallows as the sun gets stronger. I know that it's much warmer here than it is on Djuma. Let's head back to Taylor with creatures that are also basking in the morning light.
They've actually hopped off of their stem, which they were once sunning themselves. We're still with this bird party that was frolicking around on the ground. Now, I'm trying to find that woodpecker again because it was quite interesting. I think, oh, there it is. There it is. I think it could be a Bennett's woodpecker, to be honest, because I know that the Bennett's woodpeckers feed predominantly down on the ground, and they do favor eating termites and ants, though most of the woodpecker species do like doing that. But it's so difficult to get a decent view of it. It doesn't sit still for very long. but I could be mistaken. I just know that, for instance, the bearded, they feed almost exclusively in trees. So it's unusual to see one hopping down on the ground. Also a couple of Cape glossy starlings. I did see a red-billed buffalo weaver in and amongst that lot. There must be ants or termites on the ground there. That's the only thing that could sort of lure in an entire bird party, as we're seeing now. There's so many different types of birds. I'm going to try and count on my hands how many species we've seen here. We've obviously got the red-billed oxpeckers. I'm pretty sure, yes. Now I saw that woodpecker quite nicely now, and it's got the little red stripe coming down its sort of in between its throat and its head, and that's typical of it. So there we go. That's quite nice. A Bennett's woodpecker, not one that we see all the time, so I hope that that's a new bird for you. If it is, let us know. So we've got the Bennett's woodpecker, we've got Burchells and Cape glossy starlings, southern red-billed hornbills, we had a buffalo weaver, red-billed buffalo weaver. We also then had a crested barbet at one point, and that's really nice. So 6 different types of birds hopping around here on the ground, nibbling on all sorts of things. Now, I'm very curious. I'd absolutely love to go over there and figure out what they're feeding on, but I'm not going to do this because I'm going to disturb them and chase them away. So once these birds do move off, which they will, there's the crested barbet on the left. Oh no, right down where you were, Craig. Sorry, it was just in the shadows. It was just on the left-hand side of the screen. No, it's flown off now. And then I'll go and investigate and try and figure out what they were perhaps munching on. But maybe ants, maybe not even termites. I know that there are some of those smaller termite species that like to feed on all of the bark on the trees. I don't know if that silver cluster leaf looks like it has any termite sort of damage around it. It looks fairly healthy from over here. So maybe ants. Maybe some ants have been moving around and are unfortunately getting devoured. It seems like they're slowly starting to disappear. There's definitely a whole lot of disputes going on, not just amongst the same species, but variety of species. How great was that? That was such a nice bird party, and I've been chasing them all morning, and they keep flying away from me. Very, very cool. Now, Ellie, of course, is still partaking in this challenge, and I hope that you're keeping score for us, because I've forgotten. Let's go across to her and see if she's found any more.
We are just so sad that this is not the impala challenge, because I reckon we would have won today. Such a big herd, all of them together moving across in the open area. So there's just another greater blue-eared starling moving around, I think, somewhere on the ground. So that's another one we can tick off. But unfortunately, we couldn't stick around for too long at Chitwa Dam. Otherwise, we would have gotten a few more that I was very hoping that we would get. But nonetheless, we shall carry on, and of course, Taylor, we are trying to keep up. I think the wind is starting to pick up a little bit now, so maybe it'll be easier to spot the birds. Hopefully they'll be somewhere on the ground, and if not, likely they'll be flown away. I think we've even... No, I wonder perhaps if the oxpeckers that we saw earlier didn't actually come from this big herd of impala, because we're not too far from where we initially spotted them. So it could be. There were quite a few oxpeckers, and we've got quite a few impala around here. Hello, ladies. Ah, young boy, how you doing? Very serious looking. Yeah, but we know that your mom's there looking after you. Okay, we shall carry on trying for more birds. Oh, look at that, some motherly love. I love you too, Mom. Well, that was quite rude and uncalled for. See, very important in all of the animal societies is the grooming between mother and youngsters, between group members. It's a good way of keeping good relationships, but it also has a double function of making sure that everyone gets rid of ticks, any parasites, any little animal in there. And they've all got special adaptations. Some it's the teeth that act like a comb, for example, like we're looking at them now, and some they're very rough tongue. So you see they're actually being quite gentle and rubbing each other, and I think it also feels nice for them, because you see they look very happy. And he's just using his front teeth, and so is she, just to clean their faces. And to clean each other's faces. Because when the impalas groom each other, they can't get to certain spots, like the neck and the face. Alright, Taylor's being very mysterious and there's something that she would like to show everyone on quarantine. So let's go over to her and see what surprise she's got for us.
Not quite mysterious. I've just am very forgetful, Ellie. Now, most of you looking at this view that you've got right now are probably going, aha, I know exactly what Taylor wants to do. But for those of you who have just started watching, let me very quickly explain. Now, when I first arrived at Djuma, we started watching the change in the color of the grass and the length of the grass coming out of the drought. And then once we got all the rain, watching the grass sprout out. Now, yesterday morning, I said to you, start getting your screenshots together from as long as you can remember in the spot when we first started taking these pictures. And I thought that you could maybe, well, do a little timeline of photos back from the first time we did this right through to now, so all the new viewers can see how dry it was, then how lush and green it was, and now how this golden color of the grass has arrived once again. So obviously take as many screenshots as you can, and then hashtag Safari Live if you're feeling up to it and you want to make a collage. Maybe you've already started making a collage. It'll be nice and be great if you could share it with all of us. We've got so many new viewers, and like I said, for them to see how the vegetation has just changed within maybe 9 months or so, it would be quite interesting, I think. And I know a lot of you have done collages before, but we're just going to keep adding for as long as I'm here, and we're going to make a massive timeline and just see how quarantine changes for as ever long as I work here for. So let's give that a go. Right, so hopefully you got some, and I look forward to seeing them a bit later. Now, I haven't heard those birds chirping as much now. So I wonder if they've moved off. Maybe we can go and have a look. No, they're still there. And I made a mistake. I said there were only 6 species of birds, and Craig reminded me that the southern white-crowned shrike was there too. So I apologize. It was a bird party of several different species. Hello, buffalo weavers. Are you just working? Are you eating? At least they're not outside my window. Oh, there they go. They're just flying off. Now, the tree is just here. See if we can get a different angle. They're still there. Look at them. Oh. Now, James, you're wondering if the birds migrate in the winter. Some of them do, not all of them. A lot of the intra-African migrants. You know what I'm going to do? Have a look at this beautiful Burchell starling. It's just demonstrating the iridescence that it has in its feathers so well this morning as it sits there. Isn't that gorgeous? So yes, a lot of the intra-African migrants will do so. So for instance, if you look at some of, what bird are we going to talk about? Some of the bee eaters. So for instance, not the European bee eater, but for instance the white-throated bee eater, which you see a lot of in the northern parts of Africa, or even sort of just for Central Africa, if you go into Zambia and places like that. And then you start to see them, and they'll come down here for our summers, which are a lot more mild than the summers further north. So yes, there are many, many different birds. We're missing a whole lot of them now. A lot of kingfisher species move on, and then of course we don't just have intra-African migrants. We've got birds that leave and go all the way overseas. Leave Africa, leave the continent of Africa. Some go to Europe, some go into Russia, others go into Asia. So they go to many different places. But this Burchell starling is very busy. I wonder what it's going after. I can't quite see exactly what it's feeding on, but it does give chase every now and then, so I can only presume that it's little insects. But what a gorgeous color these birds are as the sun hits their feathers. Don't you think? Now, another bird that's so similar that I wish that you could all see is the Meave starling. They're really beautiful too. They've got a much longer tail, and to me, when they stand in the sun, I feel as though you get more of the purples coming off of their feathers. Oh, there we go. He's got a worm, or had a worm or something. Did you see that? Maybe a little caterpillar. It's got another one. What are you eating? Maybe they're little mini praying mantis. I can't see what it's got, but it's definitely found a little gold mine of its own. Is it a praying mantis? Is it a little grub? Excuse me. Sorry, bird. I'm glad it didn't scare you, though. And there it is. Just disappearing out of reach behind the car, but very, very busy nonetheless. That's quite nice. Let's see if we can find anyone else. Maybe that crested barbet is still around here. They're quite gorgeous. I'll just turn the car here. Let's see if they come back again. There's another bird for our list. Let's see where the African hoopoe is going to land. Land close by. Oh, behind the leaves. There was an African hoopoe. It's flying again. No, that's the drongo. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where everyone's going. Where did you go? Oh, that's a bit disappointing. It would have been nice. Oh, there's another one. Oh, Craig, right up and over there. If you go, zoom in a little bit more. Where are you? It's sitting in that bush somewhere. I just saw it fly again. Okay, we'll have to wait for it to come up. But the crested barbet is on this marula tree. And just up over here. You can see just in the fork. Now, this is actually this is a special tree to me, this marula that you can see over here, that the crested barbet has taken up a perch. And now the wind is picking up. You can see clearly by the marula leaves. And also the fact that the bird is almost being blown off the branch. But if I ever want to make a phone call, there's very little cellular signal out here in the bush, and we often have to rely on Wi-Fi. If I come and sit up on top of this tree, right in the middle, I then can get 2 bars of reception to try and phone people. So that's what I often come and do if I need to give my mom a call or something like that. You can just drive down the middle road of quarantine and you'll see me perched up in that tree. Now, I would have quite happily demonstrated to you, but unfortunately I don't want to let the birds get disturbed by my presence, and they've settled down again. Oh, that woodpecker's back again and out in the open. That's really cool. What a beautiful bird. Now you can clearly see that it's a Bennett's, and this you might be able to get some nice screenshots because it's hard to get them out in the open like that. But beautiful, sort of little streaking all over its body, lovely golden green on the back of its wings. It's a very pretty bird. Now the other woodpeckers don't have that sort of red throat stripe, if you will, so it's quite easy to tell between the others. But it's difficult when they're hopping through the long grass to be able to tell the difference, because between the Bennets, the golden-tailed, the bearded, they all look so similar, and similar size too. It's just the cardinal that's much smaller. Oh, it's hopped onto my favorite tree now. There it is, just going to the middle. This is beautiful. So not only do they feed down on the ground, they also feed over on the middle of the trunk of a tree, and there's a lot of termite damage that has been done to of course, this marula tree. And that's what they, like I said, they love to feed on things like that. How great is that? That must be like one of the best sightings of a woodpecker I think I've ever had. One that's hung around for long enough for us to have a look at. And to be honest, I haven't had very many sightings of a Bennett's woodpecker either. I think a couple, but really not any memorable ones. And very busy looking up towards the branch, looking for anything that they can eat. So, like I said, ants, termites, but it'll also feed on the larvae and the eggs of ants and termites, so it's not just limited to that, and I'm sure it will feed on any other little insects that it can get to, any little grubs that it can pull out from holes in the trees. Now come on, you're sitting so perfectly. Can you demonstrate how you peck? It's getting something, maybe some ants just on that tree. And I hope that you're just enjoying watching this. It's really quite nice. I think I'm actually going to sit just quietly because there's a couple of birds chirping. It's very, very nice. So have a little listen. It flew to the left. It's okay, don't worry, Craig. Now, Pierre, you're wondering, why do some birds trot and some birds walk? Well, I suppose it's just their style. I love the style. Well, starlings do a combination of both things, and so do hornbills. I don't think they're just limited to one thing. There's a red-billed hornbill, Craig, that's just landed to the right as well, just next to that southern white-crowned shrike. So I think it's just the way that they walk. I mean, I've never seen a crested barbet walking. They always bounce about 2 feet together. Hornbills can do that too, and you often see them doing that when they want to get to a place a little bit quicker and when they're on the ground. Otherwise, they would just fly. That's the easiest option. So I think maybe it depends on their foot structure, but I don't think that certain birds are just limited to one way of moving around on the ground. I think there's various different types of ways. Now they've had enough. They've obviously eaten their fill. Crops must be full. And now they're just going to sun themselves. Behavior that I'd quite like to see with birds, I'd like to see anting. I've only seen it a couple of times. I don't know if I've really seen it live. No, I don't think I have. Where the birds let the ants crawl on their body, or they physically put the ants on their body, and those ants will go through their feathers and get rid of all the debris. Right, let's move on. Let's see what else we can find. Let's go back around this way. We need some new birds. We need those Hippos. Alright, we've got you, white crowned shrike. We've got the Senegal lapwings. We've got the crowned lapwings. Maybe we'll get those African Hippos. I hope we do. We just got to keep our eyes open now. Though, with it being so windy, you might find that a lot of the birds are just going to go and perch themselves in the tree and wait it out, or they'll be down on the ground foraging at the base of the tree like what we've just seen. Go have a look. Seen that bird? Now we've got to play them and find the bird we haven't seen yet. Now, Evan, you were wondering if any of the bee eaters are seen commonly in this area. Yes, we see the little bee eaters all year round, so they're sort of our residents. Then we get the white-throated bee eater coming through. We also get the European bee eater. But I like the little bee eaters. They're so tiny and petite, but again, they're just magical when you watch them performing through the air and catching all sorts of things. There's impala's just running off into the thicket. Let's carry on down here. And then of course the carmine bee eaters, which I think have to be the prettiest. They're sort of that magenta color, and they're also, but they're seasonal. We should start seeing them towards the end of winter, coming into September, October, November, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They should come around there. I just want to show it's really windy up here. I don't think we'll be seeing much on quarantine today in the terms of wildebeest and impala. I think that they'll be all be hiding off in an area, perhaps down on Ingwe Alley Road. That's very sheltered. I reckon if we had to go and drive there right now, we're a bit far away though, it will take us a couple of minutes to get down there. that all the impala in the Sabi Sands, well, in the northern Sabi Sands, will be on that road. Okay, start checking in some of these shrubs. I'm sad we missed some of the songbirds this morning. Like I said, a white-browed scrub robin would have been quite lovely to see and to hear its call. And I have to say that I think Janie has now won the bird challenge with the bird that she's found. So why don't you all head on over to Kenya?
I hear that there's been something of a birding challenge going on Djuma. Well, Dave, I think we win, just by sheer virtue of size. Yeah, maybe not. Birding for us will become a lot easier when we're not jumping up and down out of the vehicle. I think once Pucker's up and running and our other two vehicles arrive, we'll be able to show you more of the extraordinary birds that you won't get to see on Djuma. But we do see lots and lots of ostriches. And something to anticipate in the future. It will happen at some point with one of us. It's impossible to predict who, but at some point we're going to get a cheetah ostrich hunt. And that's something I've been fortunate enough to witness a few times in the desert. It is an extraordinary competition of two speedsters, because of course an ostrich can run exceptionally fast, not quite as fast as a cheetah. And they also have very, very powerful legs. In fact, I suppose that goes without saying if you've got something that can run so fast. And they kick to defend themselves, both backwards and forwards. This is a male ostrich for our new viewers, the largest bird in the world. And the reason I know that it's male is because it is black and white rather than a sort of dusty brown color that the females have. And all the time that I've seen the ostriches, not so much with this one, but every time I've seen ostriches in company of females, they've had that distinctive red blush on their necks and around their faces that they get during breeding season. Apparently they breed all year round here, is what I've been told. So much like the impala, there's testosterone levels always running relatively high. Can't wait to see baby ostriches as well, Dave. Maybe not right now, because a baby ostrich would be pretty much invisible in this long grass, especially at this sort of distance. Alright, Dave and myself have some admin to do, and it sounds like Ellies found a truly exciting bird of prey.
We have managed to find one of my favorite eagles around here. This is the African harrier hawk. Well, maybe eagle was a bit too excited, and just bird of prey is more accurate. And we found it because there was a tiny little drongo trying to mob it, just annoying it enough so that it would fly away. But clearly the drongo didn't win, and the harrier hawk, also previously known as a gymnogene, has stuck around here just to say hello, which we're very happy about. I wonder if we're going to start moving around and hunting. Well, we are very happy to add you onto our bird list. There are a few things fluttering around here as well that we'd like to show you. I think if we go to the base of the tree, there's a blacksmith plover to the left hand side, exactly over there. There we go, another very common species of bird, normally found around water, and it's called a blacksmith because it makes a noise, a high pitch, like ding 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 ding, and it sounds like a blacksmith when they start working with their tools, or metal tools. So that's where it gets the name from. And I think if we carry on down the shore, so if we go a bit to the right, down the shore of the water, close to where there are some water buck drinking, there we go, we see the little white reflection moving around. A three-banded plover moving all the way there, so just to the left of the water buck that's the most on the left. So here. There we go, moving there to the left. Hello. Also another common species of bird that we see to find around the waterways, and they often share their space with the plovers. They feed on different areas of the shore, so they seem to get along quite well. But then there's another tiny bird that we would like to show you that is just on top of the marula, and they all came recently down for a drink, and it was very beautiful because there was a lot of yellow going on, and I hope they're still around there. Maybe they've flown away because I can hear them in the distance. We had the yellow-fronted canaries moving around. So beautiful tiny little yellow birds, but I think they've moved around now. I was convinced that they were still up there. Seems like they've moved off now. And look at this beautiful waterbuck. A group of boys, 4 boys together, still very young, and I think it's the same ones that we had perhaps yesterday afternoon, because it's 3 that are roughly the same area, and the one at the back that's clearly slightly older than the rest of them. So I'm pretty sure in this group of 4 he would be the one that ranks higher in amongst their hierarchy and their dominance. So it's pretty obvious that there's not too much of a competition. He's got the biggest horns and the biggest size. So I'm pretty sure that he's letting the other 3 know who's in charge. Is that an oxpecker on the floor, on the ground? It seems like it is. Right there. I think it just jumped off and maybe coming also to have a bit of a drink. Yep, there we go. Long tail fluffing around. But you see the beak is not colorful yet, so this is a youngster still. And next to it, the parent is eating almost got kicked by the water bug. It's eating the ticks by the feet or the hooves of the water bug. Very tricky part. And I think maybe it's a bit ticklish, and that's why the water bug is not loving it altogether. And I'm sure it's just ticklish. Let's go to Taylor, see if she's been keeping score. I have a strong feeling that she might be the winner for today, but it's not a problem because then we can challenge her again this afternoon.
I haven't been keeping score, but we're just waiting for this ground scraper thrush to pop out from behind this marula tree. You just have to look very carefully. We'll have to wait for it. There it is. You can just see its little head moving around. Come on, out you come. Ah, typical. There it is. Ah, fantastic. There's a little ground scraper thrush just running at the back with there it is. We almost got it. There's a nice view of it. Beautiful birds. Very striking. All of those black streaks on its body, and then of course the white and the brown and the yellow bill. Very, very pretty birds. It's always good to have them on camera. And I thought that I'd seen an African hoopoe, but the hoopoe has flown away, I think. It's disappeared somewhere into the distance. I'm desperately trying to see if I can scrape through a couple more birds. So I'm just scanning around here. We actually just keep coming back to the tree. What was that? No, I think that there are just a whole lot. Oh, something gave them a fright. Did you see that? All of them just from the ground. Oh, there's another one. Top right. Let's quickly get it. Just here, up here. On this branch there. There it is, right there where my finger is. Is that a southern? Yes. Look at that. We've got another one to add to the list. That, of course, is a southern black flycatcher. Very nice. Hasn't got the big recurve bill. But we're running out of time. The clock is counting down. We've only got a few more seconds before the show finishes, but I hope that you've enjoyed this morning from Kenya, from South Africa, and the Sabi Sands. Of course, it's been great having you once again. A day filled with lots of feathers, but we'll see you for a very windy sunset safari.